Welcome back to ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Capital One Bowl Week continues from San Antonio. It's been overflowing with football fans this holiday week as two of the most loyal fan bases in the country have descended upon the Alamo City to watch two Texas high school legends go head-to-head in the Alamo Bowl.
Breeze lobs it for the end zone. Got in there. Touchdown, Isaac Joe. Tate wants to go deep for the touchdown. A man open at the 20. It is caught. 10, 5, touchdown. Holloway. Oh, my.
The national championship on the line right here. He's going for the corner. He's got it.
Though Texas could not repeat as national champions this season, they did create new stars. Redshirt freshman quarterback Colt McCoy displayed composure beyond his years. He has thrown 27 touchdown passes, too shy of the NCAA freshman record he hopes to break today. Cornerback Aaron Ross is the best defensive back in the country. He's the second straight Longhorn to win the Thorpe Award. Today, he looks to put an exclamation point on a great career. Iowa hasn't played since before Thanksgiving and has spent the last 5 weeks trying to right its ship. Quarterback Drew Tate returns to his home state of Texas. The fiery leader of the Hawkeyes hopes to end a disappointing season with one of the highlights of his career. Texas and Iowa before a packed house in the Alamo Bowl. ESPN welcomes you to the Alamo Bowl from the sold-out Alamo Dome. Nearly 70,000 fans on hand to watch the second meeting ever on the football field between two of the great programs in the country, the Texas Longhorns and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Chris Spielman. We'll be joined in a moment by Rob Stone. Delighted to have you with us for this marquee matchup. It's been an interesting season for each team. In the case of Texas, defending a national championship, they got off to a great start. They're getting off to a great start here, too, as they take the field before the rabid burnt orange nation. At one point, just a couple of weeks ago, Chris, though, they were 9-1, and the injury to Colt McCoy at the end of the season derailed some national championship and conference title hopes.
Well, yeah, it definitely hurt them when you lose your starting quarterback and 27 touchdowns. That does hurt your football team. But Colt McCoy has had a chance to recover from his pinched nerve. That opportunity gave him the ability to get his accuracy back and his strength back. He's something special, Sean.
Indeed he is, with 3 touchdown passes. Today he'll set the all-time NCAA freshman touchdown pass record. Meanwhile, Iowa at the start of the season had dreams of a Big Ten title. They started out in wonderful fashion, 4-0 and 5-1, but then it totally unraveled. They arrive here having lost 5 of their last 6, including the last 3. It's a team with a lot of veterans, a team determined to finish the season on a positive note.
Well, this place has energy. Their quarterback has energy in Drew Tate. Drew struggled a little bit this year, had some injury problems, but he also had a core of young wide receivers that didn't really help him. They've had a chance to grow as the season progressed. They've gotten better in bowl practice. Expect to see the best that Drew Tate has to offer tonight.
Coach Kirk Ferentz says it would be poetic justice if Tate's great career ends with a win over his home state university in his home state of Texas. Texas and Iowa, the kickoff from San Antonio in just a moment.
We're on the Riverwalk in San Antonio, just a few steps away from the Alamo, with thousands of college football fans enjoying both the warm weather and famous Texas hospitality. We are proud to bring the excitement and revelry of the Alamo Bowl to fans across the nation in a game being played before the largest crowd in Alamo Dome history. So whether you're a Hawkeye or a Longhorn, or maybe just a fan of great college football, we hope you're having fun and enjoy the game. On behalf of the Alamo Bowl family and the city of San Antonio, we wish you all a happy, healthy new year.
And we thank Bob and the people here at the Alamo Bowl for their great hospitality, and we welcome in Rob Stone.
Well, these two teams, Sean, combined have lost their last 5 games. So both respective head coaches really came in taking a hard edge approach to their bowl preps. We begin with Mack Brown. He told us Hey, we are on a business trip right now. Exhibit A, they arrived on Christmas Day and promptly practiced. 6:15 a.m. wake-up calls and early curfews. Yesterday at the luncheon, he gave Coach Ferentz some Texas spurs as a gift, and you get the sense that if Kirk Ferentz had those spurs during bowl preps, he might have been using them on his players. The sense that he's almost embarrassed by their 6-6 mark. He really took out his frustrations by cranking up bowl practices. Plenty of hitting, and a lot of players told us this was the most involved they've ever seen coach at practices and on both sides of the ball.
Lawrence, the kickoff for Texas, and here comes Anthony Bowman, the freshman, out across the 20 near the 25-yard line. He got walloped out of bounds. Texas won the toss and deferred, so Iowa will begin the game on offense, as they have done with great regularity throughout Kirk Ferentz's tenure. Every game but one this season, they've had the ball first, led by Drew Tate, senior from Baytown, Texas, about 3 hours from here. A lot of friends and family in attendance among the sellout crowd. He said many of them have never seen him play in person in college before. They open in the eye with Albert Young, the tailback. One of the best rushers in the country last year, this season hampered by a sprained knee. He slides out to the 28-yard line, and let's meet the Hawkeyes on offense.
On offense up front, we got a great mix of characters. We got a couple farmers, we got an Indian, and we got an interesting character from Chicago.
Skill position. Outside, Dougie Fresh, upcoming. Chandler, big tight, handles everything inside. And Tommy Gunn back there bulldozes everyone for the backs.
Dougie Fresh, the freshman wide receiver. Dominique Douglas out of Detroit, Michigan, leading freshman receiver in the country this season and leading Iowa with 46 receptions. They've been hurt from time to time by inexperience in that receiver corps. Scott Derry drops Young for a loss, and right on cue, the Texas defense.
They say everything is big in the state of Texas. Who's up? Big draws up. Texas front four.
At linebacker, number 44, Rashad Bobineau. They called him the Iceman. Back to the secondary, we may not be the biggest, but we all pack a big punch and we all make big plays.
Michael Griffin playing alongside his twin brother, who's 2 minutes younger, Marcus Griffin, in the safety spots for Texas. That Longhorn defense second in the nation against the run. They drop Young for a loss back to the 23. Tate to throw for the first time, has a first down out to the 39-yard line. It's Dougie Fresh, Dominique Douglas with his 47th catch of the season, adding to his Iowa freshman record.
Well, what's that impressive about that, Sean? He's working on a Thorpe Award winner, Aaron Ross, man-to-man, locked up. And watch Dominique first get off the jam, then work his way back to the football. Aaron Ross loses his feet. Dominique keeps his feet. Result, first down. Nice job of Drew Tate hanging in there under pressure and delivering it.
Tate's completed 58% of his passes this year. He'd been over 60 in the previous 2 years. But been bothered by a thumb injury and an abdominal strain. Looking there for Andy Brodell, that was incomplete. Brandon Foster in coverage. Tate had thumb surgery at mid-season on his left thumb. When we visited with him yesterday, it is clearly still swollen. You can see that at the base of the thumb. He still does not have the ability to bend it, has trouble gripping and squeezing the ball.
And the other thing he had trouble with, as he told us, was handing off to his right because he has to extend the ball to his left. That should be taken care of through the rest and preparation of bowl practice.
On second down, a draw for Albert Young, and the New Jersey native out of Moorestown has 8 out to the 46-yard line, tackled by Michael Griffin.
That's the guy they got to get off and get off early. Really a disappointing year for Albert Young, a junior, after a tremendous year last year. As you said, been hampered by a knee injury. Really not painful, but there's swelling, so that hampers his ability to make the cuts. Right there, he made a great cut.
Their leading rusher this year, 715 yards, but that's down from 1,334 last season when he led the Big Ten in rushing in conference games. Third down and 2. Iowa near midfield. Tate trying to throw for the first down, in trouble. He was able to spin away and drop it off for Tony Moyaki, the backup tight end. And it's a first down for Iowa to the Texas 46.
Yeah, that's what Drew Tate brings here. Right away, his personality shows. He's not going to be denied in pocket presence. Feels the pressure of Crowder coming from the backside. No, I'll get away from that. Moeaki stays alive in the route, doesn't quit, and goes ahead and stretches and lunges for the first down. But Drew Tate made that play happen with his feet and his presence in the pocket.
8-yard gain. And Iowa, a considerable underdog here today, on the move on the opening possession. Tate under duress from a blitz, stepped away from it, dumped it off to Tom Bush, the fullback. He paid the price, but delivered a blow at the end as well as he collided with the Griffins. Michael and Marcus. 19 more for Iowa.
Right here again, Drew Tate making people miss in the pocket, knowing where his receivers are because his eyes are downfield. And the big fella delivering the blow in Bush. He likes it when those little DBs come after him. He's going to go ahead and put his head down and run him over.
Concerned look from Mac Brown early. The Iowa players and coaches, unanimous, the ones we spoke at, saying they had a great month of bowl practice, and they look sharp here. Albert Young inside the 5, down to the goal line. They'll mark him inside the 1.
We can start with a number of places here. First of all, the offensive line dominating up front. You can see the hole in the cutback. There's a good job by Champ Davis. Albert Young taking on Griffin, putting him on his highlight film, gave him a leg and took it away. Then the ability to lunge and is just short. Good call by the officials marking that short.
And Texas needs a timeout. Yeah. Players running on and off the field. They are on their heels early. Nice mix of run and pass on this opening drive engineered by Drew Tate. This game is being broadcast in high definition on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays. First and goal, Iowa. Inside the 1-yard line, looking for the first score of this Alamo Bowl. An impressive drive, 4 runs and 4 passes. The handoff to Young with the second effort into the end zone. Touchdown, Hawkeyes.
Albert Young is on a mission. Kirk Ferentz had spring camp 1 during bowl practice to set a physical presence and physical tone. Take a look from Skycam above. Albert Young running people over, running over his own guys, keeping his feet moving, never leaving the leg drive. Killebrew coming there with a shot, but it was too late because Albert's celebrating in the end zone with his teammates.
7th rushing touchdown of the season for Young. Kyle Schlicker to add the extra point. And it is good. Albert Young said Coach Ferentz during the bowl practice went back to a training camp mentality. He worked us hard. That hard work paid off on the opening drive.
ESPN College Football, the Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by Ford F-Series, built for bold moves, built Ford tough, and eHarmony.com. Are you ready to fall in love?
The Iowa Hawkeye fans outnumbered, but they sold all 11,000 of their tickets as they appear in the Alamo Bowl for the 4th time in the 14-year history of this game. They're 2-1 in the previous trips. And off to a great start here, a 9-play, 77-yard drive. Young had 5 carries. Tate was 3 out of 4. And an early surprise as Iowa has the lead. Austin Signor will kick off, the freshman from Urbandale, Iowa. Down to Quan Cosby. And he's to the 26-yard line, so that's where Texas will open on offense. After a 24-yard return by Cosby, the Longhorns led by Colt McCoy, the redshirt freshman from Tuscola, Texas, in West Texas near Abilene. Population 714. 2 touchdowns away from the NCAA single-season freshman record. David Neal of Nevada threw 29 back in 1998. McCoy injured in their second-to-last game of the regular season on the first series against Kansas State. A pinched nerve in his neck and shoulder. Did not play in the rest of that game. Played sparingly against A&M in their final game of the regular season. Charles Godfrey up from the corner to cut down Selvin Young. Here's the Texas offense.
Our offense is led by the big diesels up front. We're headed by Lyle Sinline, the CEO at center, and yours truly.
Out wide, we got our deep ball package go-getter, Lyman Swede. Delivering that mail package, the real deal, Colt McCoy. He handed off to myself. We bruising up the middle. Catch me if you can.
It's a Texas running game that's come under some criticism in recent weeks. They ran for just 70 yards in that regular season-ending loss to Texas A&M. McCoy looking to throw on second down and 11. And he's on target to Jermichael Finley, one of their tight ends, short of the first down. Here's the Iowa defense.
This is the crazy bunch from Iowa City. The defense, the fearsome foursome. We're like brothers.
We got the leader of the linebacking core, number 27, Ed E-Muscle Miles, bone crusher. We got the secondary, the 4 go-getters coming to you by Lando Ed. That wraps up the Iowa defense.
And secondary bolstered by the return of Adam Shada at cornerback. He missed the last 4 games of the regular season. They also got Kenny Webama back, their best pass rusher. He missed the second half of the year after shoulder surgery. Swing pass, and they will not get the first down. Selvin Young walloped again by Adam Shada. And help from Mike Humpel.
They're also going to get help with a 15-yard penalty. Lyle Sendline comes in and cleaning up the pile, and you like to see your offensive lineman be aggressive to come in and help your running back getting gang tackled.
Jay Stricker's the referee. It is a Pac-10 officiating crew.
Decline the penalty. 4th down.
I think it's a dead ball. They'll walk it off and still have the punt.
After the play, personal foul on the offense, number 62. 15-yard penalty.
Good job,
down to score.
Watch Sendline, the center. He's going to come from the right side and just trying to help his buddy out. And Pascal standing around a pile. Cleans him out. It's just a little late. You like to see that, but it's a little late. Pascal took the brunt of that hit from the big fella. He's not running that far and not hitting anybody now.
So Greg Johnson, the left footer, will punt. Transfer from Vanderbilt, where he spent 1 season and was a freshman All-American. Dominic Douglas back for Iowa, standing at his own 40-yard line. Fair catch, and Douglas made the catch with one of the Longhorns right on him, Michael Griffin. With no flag, a 45-yard punt. Iowa starts at the 37, leading 7-0 when we come back.
Marshall Faulk's always been a big influence on me in my game. His versatility, his running ability, it's just something that I like to follow my game out there. My personality, when I walk in the room, I just light it up. Jay-Z's my man. He's always on my iPod. That's who I'm listening to right now. Just his style, his demeanor. That's just the way I like to carry myself.
Albert Young had the longest run of his season to date, 26 yards, to set up his 1-yard touchdown run. The only score of the game. We near the midpoint of the first quarter. Iowa on offense for the second time. Damian Sims has alternated with Young at tailback much of the year into the ball game for the start of this possession. Nice move after the catch. Andy Brodell off to the races. Look at him run. Touchdown, Iowa.
There's that myth out there, and it's about dead, and it should have been dead about 10 years ago, is that the Big Ten doesn't have any speed. Right there, you saw speed by Burdell, working on Aaron Ross, the Thorpe Award winner, the All-American corner. And not only did he force Aaron to miss him, he gained ground on him as he's running past him.
Ran away from, among others, Aaron Ross, the Jim Thorpe Award winner, is the best defensive back in the country. Kyle Schlicker adds the extra point. A stunning start to this one. Andy Brodell, the sophomore from Ankeny, Iowa, coming off a 159-yard performance in their season-ending loss of Minnesota with the great move, 63 yards in all. He ran away from this talented Texas secondary. And we should point out, Chris, a lot of talent in that secondary, but the Longhorns are 98th in the country against the pass this season, giving up 233 pass yards per game.
Yeah, and also Gene Chizik, of course, accepted the head coaching job at Iowa State. And Dwayne Aquina is calling the plays for Texas on the defensive side. And right now, they're trying to play a soft man where you saw Ross back up on his coverage, but he couldn't recover. And Brodell put a little move on him, and he was off. I mean, he was gone. I think he surprised the Texas secondary with his speed and the ability to finish.
14-0 Hawkeyes. Jordan Shipley back for the kickoff with Quan Cosby. And it'll be Cosby again from the 6. For a nice hole. Cosby across midfield to the Iowa 42. 52 yards on the return by Cosby. And great field position for Texas.
Again, to be a great return man, you got to have vision and patience. You got to be able to set up. Jog, makes a man miss, and he shows his great speed. And he's able to just get slowed down a little bit, forced to cut back in the pursuit. Got him from behind.
Cosby, an excellent return man. Brought a kickoff back against Nebraska for a touchdown. Had a punt return for a score against Sam Houston State. McCoy on the rollout, on target. First down to the 30. Jordan Shipley on the receiving end. Adam Shada had the coverage, 12 yards for Texas.
Any question about Colt McCoy's arm was answered right there. Pass was thrown with a lot of velocity, low and outside, the way you're supposed to throw an outcut, so only your man can get the ball.
McCoy and Jordan Shipley quite familiar with each other. Their dads were roommates in college at Abilene Christian. Bob McCoy, Brad McCoy rather, and Bob Shipley. Some trickery, and here's Jordan Shipley again. Got another first down, and the Longhorns wanted a late hit. They're not going to get the call. Shada the tackle. With help from Brian Madison, it goes to the 17, a pickup of 15, another first down for the Horns.
Good job hiding the ball by Colt McCoy, and Shipley right there made two guys miss. Frankly, should be in the end zone. Both Shada and Pascal ducked their heads. Hit what you see what you hit.
Jordan Shipley played for his dad, Bob, in high school. Another thing McCoy and Shipley have in common. Each played for his dad in high school football here in the state of Texas. Jamal Charles now at a tailback for the Longhorns. He gets the pitch from McCoy. And again, good work by Charles Godfrey on the corner. One of 7 Iowa players from the state of Texas. He's from Baytown, same hometown as Drew Tate. No gain on the play, perhaps a gain of 1, that's it.
Good job of Godfrey getting off the blocks, because Charles had his big center line out there with the ability to pull. And yet it seemed to me, it looked like it took a long time for that play to develop. Now Charles is the track guy, Sean. He can really get out and go. The pursuit of Iowa's there tonight, though. They're playing with their hair on fire tonight.
Charles, their leading rusher for the year with 805 yards. So unless he has a big afternoon, their string of 11 straight seasons with a 1,000-yard rusher will end this year. Charles got across the 15. That stood up by Mitch King. And now flags come in late with some more extracurriculars, perhaps after the whistle.
Yeah, you have American and Pascal going over to Webema saying, get it together, man. And he has been out for a while. Emotions are high and pads are cracking down on that field, buddy.
Well, some wondered if these two teams would be ready to play. Each came in on losing streaks.
After the play, personal foul on the defense, number 92. Penalties enforced, half finishes the goal, automatic first down.
Well, that question's been answered. Both teams plenty excited at the start of this game. In this case, a little too excited.
Casey stuttered there, kind of pushed him off a little bit, and the Weapon took exception to that. Didn't want Stutter to feel like he was getting the upper hand, but you got to be able to have your composure, not cost your team valuable yards and field position.
Webema did not play in the last 3 games and was limited in a couple of games prior to that because of the shoulder that required surgery. He's by far their best pass rusher. They're happy to have him back. Jamal Charles to the right. With a healthy wallop from Edmund Miles and Adam Shada. Heard Miguel Merrick during his introduction to lineups talk about the muscles on Miles, and we certainly got to look at those up close. And we visited with him yesterday. He is put together at 6'1", 230 pounds, a senior from Tallahassee, Florida.
Reminded me of you in the weight room today with that tight shirt on.
Second and goal. Just inside the 5. McCoy flagged down before the snap. The play did not count. Linus Swede, the intended receiver. Coming up right after this game, Matt Stafford leads the Georgia Bulldogs against Brandon Orr and number 14 Virginia Tech. The Hokies riding a 6-game winning streak. It's the Chick-fil-A Bowl on ESPN tonight, 8 Eastern time, part of Capital One Bowl Week, and also available on ESPN HD and ESPN Radio.
Obviously, if you're a fan of defensive football, watch that Hokie defense fly around under the leadership of Bud Foster and Frank Beamer. They'll get after it tonight.
Ball back to the 9-yard line. Iowa doesn't blitz much, but they do more often inside the red zone. Pass incomplete. Looking for Jermichael Finley.
Iowa got away with one there, Sean. The Iowa coaching staff on the sidelines before the play were trying to get a timeout. They didn't like the matchup. Colt McCoy had Linus Swede all over Marcus Pascal. Marcus Pascal is a good run defender and a decent cover guy, but you like to have your corners on your best wide receivers. That was a matchup that Texas liked. Now take a look at Linus Swede matched up on that. Shada down here. This is where they went to the fade last time. They didn't get it. See if they come back to it.
Third and goal from the 9. Hawkeyes do blitz again in the red zone, and the pass way off target. Intended for Quan Cosby. And the Longhorns will have to settle for a field goal try for Coach Brown. 92-22 in his 9 years as head coach at Texas.
It's interesting the formations they've come out in. They haven't come out in much 11 personnel. That's one back, one tight end. They've been out in 21 personnel. Why? Because they recommitted to the run game during their bowl practice. They want to pound people inside.
Ryan Bailey will try a field goal of about 26 yards from the right hash mark. He's a sophomore, second-year walk-on. His first career kick came in mid-October at Nebraska in the final seconds to win the game with a 22-yard field goal, and he still hasn't missed. Now 5 out of 5 as a varsity kicker. Texas on the board, trailing Iowa 14-3 in the first quarter.
How proud are you? How strong are you? How imposing can you be? The best way to prove yourself is to play in a game like this. USC, Michigan. In the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl game, presented by Citi, New Year's Day.
And I know, Chris, you and I are looking forward to being in Pasadena for the granddaddy of them all for ESPN Radio. So if you're driving around in your car, can't get in front of the television set, we hope you'll tune in to ESPN Radio for what should be a great game.
That's matched up nice, athlete for athlete. Michael Hart made the commitment to come back for next year.
Hunter Lawrence, the true freshman, place kicker with a strong leg, very highly recruited kicker, booms it into the end zone. Down by Anthony Bowman. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, we talked about that new attitude and energy of Iowa. Well, it starts from up top. Head coach Kirk Ferentz, after their opening touchdown, went right over to this dry erase board, was sitting on his heels, had a headset on, talking to nobody, but just scribbling up plays like he was working in the sandlot. Ton of energy from him and Drew Tate here on the sideline. Two things, though, to keep your guys' eyes out for. Fullback Tom Bush, right shoulder, injured it on that opening touchdown. And also Albert Young, their star running back, receiving some stretching help behind the sidelines for either his left hamstring or his right groin. Keep an eye on those two guys.
All right, it is Damian Sims in at tailback for Young. He takes the delayed handoff from Tate and gets two, tackled by Roy Miller with help from Scott Derry. When we spoke with the Iowa players yesterday, Drew Tate said Kirk Ferentz has been more involved in practices in every aspect of practice than he's ever been during Tate's entire career at Iowa. He said usually he's with the offensive line and he'll participate in other parts, but he has been very hands-on in offense and defense. And we asked Kirk about it. He said, hey, we're very disappointed with the way the season's gone. In many ways, we're embarrassed. We need to get proactive to turn this around, and they have so far today.
It's good recognition by Drew Tate right there, not panicking, recognizing blitz.
There's Damian Sims. No gain. Roy Miller again, the defensive tackle. Iowa picked to finish third in the Big Ten preseason poll behind Ohio State and Michigan. Started very well. 5-1. They only lost to Ohio State. But then they went to Indiana, lost by 3, and that seemed to send them into a tailspin. They finished the year 1-5, including 3 straight losses to close out the regular season. The Northwestern, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. As a result, they finished 2-6 in the Big Ten, their worst conference mark since Kirk Ferentz's first year. Coach Ferentz said, we didn't even show up against Northwestern and Minnesota.
You know, Sean, an interesting point you brought up with Coach Ferentz. And coaches evaluate their coaches, their players, but they also evaluate themselves. And what that tells me, what Rob reported, is he's getting more involved, saying he didn't do a good enough job, first and foremost, and he's standing up and taking responsibility and holding himself accountable for the 6-6 season.
I've never heard an Iowa coach or players talk about concerns about effort, but the coaches and the players all openly speak about what has been at least perceived by them to be a lack of intensity from time to time during the year. There's a problem with the play clock. Apparently it's resolved, and now 3rd down and 8 for Tate and the Hawkeyes. Champ Davis, a fullback, the lone back, inching closer to hear what Tate has to say. Deafening noise inside this dome. Tate fired a bullet incomplete for Tony Moyaki, and then he got leveled. Aaron Ross, Robert Killebrew there. It was Ross who delivered the big hit.
Well, that's Aaron Ross needs to make a play like that to get back involved in the ball game. Right here's a strike to Moyaki. It would have been a great catch, but one that Moyaki can make, has made, and needs to make. And Aaron Ross does a good job of breaking and seeing the quarterback on the ball and delivering a good shot. He needs to get involved in the ball game. He's back for the punt return right now.
And one of the best punt return men in the nation, has 3 career punt returns for touchdowns. That's a Texas record. Andy Fenstermaker is the punter. Second year as the starting punter. They came after him, and he just did get it off, and it's a beauty. Ross with a fair catch near the 30-yard line. A 49-yard punt by the senior Fenstermaker. Only 12 of his 52 punts this year now have been returned. He does a good job hanging them up high. Tomorrow night, Larry Coker leads the Miami Hurricanes onto the field for the last time as the Canes take on the Nevada Wolfpack, led by senior quarterback Jeff Rowe in the MPC Computers Bowl. ESPN tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. Part of Capital One Bowl Week, also available on ESPN HD. Miami trying to avoid a losing season, something they haven't had since 1997.
Of course, defensive coordinator Randy Shannon, now the head coach. 2 head coaches in that ball game for Miami.
I think Larry Coker is one of the great gentlemen in college football, but usually when you make the coaching change, you make the change. McCoy going deep, looking for Lima Swede, and Charles Godfrey had the coverage. They've already hired the new coach. He's there, ready to coach. Shouldn't he coach?
I'm a believer in that, but I think under the circumstances with the service that Larry Coker has provided University of Miami, that, hey, coach, you want to coach and then go ahead. But I think if Larry is involved, but I'm sure that he's kind of gradually turning the reins over to Randy and letting him do what he wants to do for the good of the program. And Larry Coker's that kind of guy. He's going to do what's best for the program.
Wayne Aquina, the defensive coordinator. He was the co-defensive coordinator through the regular season with Gene Chizik. Chizik left to become the head coach at Iowa State at the end of the regular season. So Aquina calling the defenses today, and for the first time during his time at Texas. Here's a look at the Texas defense under Gene Chizik, who was calling the defenses. He and Aquina worked together to coordinate. Sergio Kindle, the last ball carrier for Texas. He's been a linebacker this year, a freshman. We want to get a bigger back on the field, so we may see Kindle from time to time. True freshman from Dallas at 235 pounds. McCoy on third down. It's incomplete. Zach Gableman broke it up, intended for Jermichael Finley. Gableman, the starting middle linebacker today, he's in for Mike Klinkenberg, their leading tackler for the season, who's out with a foot injury. Gableman, a walk-on, fifth-year senior from Bettendorf, special team standout. We asked Coach Ferentz, how do you think Gableman's going to do? He said, I don't know. We'll find out tomorrow.
Said he's a fifth-year senior, as you said, Sean, and right there he did a good job not letting Finley box him out. He battled for position and was able to rank the arms of Finley so he couldn't complete the pass with a catch. Good position by Gableman. Smart football player.
Greg Johnson punts. Looked like it might have hit a Hawkeye, but they scoop it up anyway. Adam Shada in the right spot, and he goes down to the 26. Just the second meeting ever between these two schools. The first was in the Freedom Bowl in Anaheim, California, 1984. A huge night for Chuck Long. He led the Hawkeyes to 31 unanswered points in the third quarter and opened up the game. 461 yards passing in that game for Chuck Long as Iowa hammered Texas 55-17.
Yeah, Chuck was something.
With the 25-second clock, operator, please shut both clocks down. Both 25-second clocks shut down, please.
The problems continue, and it might be confusing to quarterbacks. So the referee, Jay Strickers, has asked that he just turn it off. Of course, that doesn't help either.
Well, in that case, what they have to do is the referee has to communicate the best he can with the quarterbacks of how much time is left. That's a tough deal for quarterbacks. Hey, Sean, just a great play by Adam Shada right there to have the awareness. The ball bounced off one of his guys. He was aware of it as he was chasing downfield blocking. Saw it, was able to secure the football for Iowa. Could have been a big play. Adam Shada, veteran, smart move, awareness.
It's been a disappointing season for Iowa, but a big part of that is injuries. They haven't wanted to use that as an excuse. It's just the reality. Shada, one of those key players, injured, and his return has had an impact already tonight. Albert Young back in the game. He gets a couple out near the 28, tackled by Michael Griffin. 1 minute to go, first quarter. Iowa with the ball in a 14-3 lead. They're in a bowl game for the 6th straight year. They've been to 4 straight January bowls. That was another goal starting out the year, to get back to a January bowl, but they weren't able to accomplish it. Miguel Merrick, the defensive back, told us we're lucky to be in any bowl the way we played this year, and this is a marquee game, the Alamo Bowl. Andy Brodell the catch, ridden out of bounds by Aaron Ross, but it's a first down for Iowa after a 10-yard pickup.
Well, Coach Ferentz and Coach O'Keefe up in the box are sitting there saying, now wait a second. I'm looking at these All-American corner, and they're going to play soft, and they're playing zone coverage because they've been hurt against the run. We're just going to exploit that. It's just pitch and catch between Tate and Brodell, and Brodell's catching it, and he's having the ability to turn upfield. Ross is getting a slow break on the ball, allowing Brodell to get after yards without hitting him before he can turn upfield.
Wayne Aquino calling the defenses. He's not done that since the 90s when he was at the University of Arizona under Dick Tomey. Albert Young on first down gets near the 41. Roy Miller, another tackle, sophomore from Killeen, Texas. And it could be, if the Hawkeyes want it to be, the last play of the quarter. And it will be as Tate is coming over to the sideline. A memorable first quarter for the Hawkeyes. They took the opening drive and marched right down the field, 77 yards on 9 plays. Became 14-0 on the longest pass play in Iowa Bowl history. 63 yards, Tate to Andy Brodell. Albert Young, his longest run of the season, inside the 1 to set up his touchdown plunge. That was the first score of the football game. And then Iowa with some history, a 63-yard touchdown pass. Drew Tate to Andy Brodell, the longest touchdown pass in Iowa Bowl history. This is their 22nd bowl game in school history. 3rd down and 9. Play clock is still off here in the stadium. Longhorn showing blitz. Tate, incomplete. Got his signals crossed with Trey Strauss, the wide receiver. Strauss got tangled up with Aaron Ross. The ball was way over their heads, and Iowa will punt.
And here's the rule normally. Now, I don't know Iowa's rule, but I know the general rule.
From Andy Fenstermaker. Another good kick by Fenstermaker, and the fair catch made by Ross, who grew up here in San Antonio. He has 31 tickets for this game today. Fair catch at the 15, a 45-yard punt. Great feature about Colt this morning on College Game Day by Steve Cyphers, telling the story about he and his dad. Now, last spring they helped save the life of a neighbor along a lake in West Texas. The gentleman was having seizures. Colt and his dad swam across the lake to help rescue the gentleman and also help the EMTs who were arriving on the scene find Ken Harrington, who was alive today and earlier attended a Texas game in Austin this season. McCoy 0 for his last 4. As this sequence begins with a low pass in the flat for Chris Obanaya. Colt told us he felt 100% during the time between their last regular season game against A&M and today. For a while, as Mac Brown and the coaches told us, they had him on a pitch count. They'd only let him throw 40 balls in practice. Then they moved it up to 50. And he said in the other games in which he was hurt, sometimes as the game went along, he felt that shoulder weaken.
Yeah, he didn't have the arm strength. And right there, I don't think that was a case of arm strength. That's just a lack of timing and not throwing the ball. They got to get going a little bit and play with some emotion. Texas is playing dead.
McCoy, a pump fake, looking for help. Now line Godfrey, and across midfield, out of bounds at the Iowa 46. Well, that time McCoy set up the play with his legs. It looked like they didn't have anything. Instead, they wound up with a 39-yard completion to their leading receiver, Swede.
Tell you the other thing Colt does, Sean, that you don't see a lot of freshman quarterback do. He's going to direct Limas Swede to go deep, because Limas was just sitting there being covered by Gottfried, and finally when he saw the direction of Colt McCoy, go deep, young man, go deep, right there, and Colt delivers it, knowing he's got a 6'5" body.
Season was first team all Big 12. 102 career catches starting today, 9th in Texas history for the junior from Brenham, Texas. McCoy again forced to pull it down and improvise, and he throws deep again, and it's batted away this time. Outstanding work by Miguel Merrick, the senior from Union City, New Jersey. The ball intended for Billy Pittman.
Yeah, Miguel Merrick did a good job showing the senior and understanding angles. He took the proper angles, was able to come in and knock it out with a long arm with the right hand to get in Billy Pittman's face. And the other thing is Mitch King did a great job. Mitch King had Colt McCoy lined up for the kill shot, but Mitch is a smart football player and pulled off just in time. I saw the referee give him a little talking to, and Mitch did the right thing. He pulled off and kind of just touched him where he could have laid him out.
Miguel Merrick from New Jersey said he knew he was going to like Iowa on his recruiting visit. He flew from Chicago to Cedar Rapids, sat next to an older woman from Iowa who was so friendly he thought it was a put-on. Then he realized most folks in Iowa like that. It became home to him. Shovel pass to Selvin Young. Zach Gableman made the tackle. The gain of 2 for Texas to the 44. They're looking at 3rd down and 8, 2 minutes into the second quarter, trailing 14-3.
Yeah, we were surprised, Sean. We said that maybe Kirk Ferentz planted that little old lady on the plane to make nice with Miguel to get him to come to Iowa, but he was impressed with the Midwest politeness.
What's up, Billy? Texas scuffling here early. They're coming off back-to-back losses for the first time in 87 games. Lost at Kansas State, then lost at home in the season finale to A&M. There's a first down. The ball comes out, however, and it's ruled incomplete. Jordan Shipley couldn't hang on. Miguel Merrick.
Miguel Merrick again understanding angles, and you can see that he never had possession of the ball. Miguel Merrick makes sure he dislodged the ball. Good job tackling and running through the ball carrier, making sure the ball comes out. Shipley's got to make a play for Colt because his lineman stood up there, held up Iowa defensive pass rushers out, have an opportunity to make a play, make it.
Third punt for Craig Johnson, senior from Lilburn, Georgia, in the Atlanta area. Raised in a soccer family, didn't kick a football until he was in high school. Just did get it off with a Webema right near his foot. Excellent bounce for Texas inside the 5 and out of bounds near the 2-yard line. 43-yard punt. You're watching ESPN's coverage of the Alamo Bowl as Texas battles Iowa from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Due to time constraints, we are moving ahead in our coverage.
ESPN College Football, the Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by Pontiac. Vote for the Pontiac Game-Changing Performance of the Year at ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac. A $100,000 scholarship is on the line. And ESPN Game Plan. Buy your bowl game package on ESPN.com's Game Plan online and catch over 20 bowl games live and on demand.
We're lined up all week to get into the Alamo, not far from the Alamo Dome. In the Alamo Bowl, it's 14-3 Iowa. They have it 1st and 10 at the Texas 34. Another big play to Andy Brodell. More than midway through the second quarter, Tate might be changing the play. The play clock still inoperable here in the stadium. Damian Sims driven back. We'll give him forward progress to the 35, but still a loss of 2. Frank Ocam in the middle of that defensive line, making his 26th career start today. Honorable mention all Big 12 this season with the big play.
See, Frank Ocam does a good job of getting off the ball and splits the double team and has the ability to finish, and he just gobbles and swallows the running back. It's good penetration by Ocam. Nobody touched him, though. Looked like a miscommunication on the line between Eubanks and Jones.
Sims remains the featured back. Apparently Young still bothered by that leg injury that Rob Stone talked about. Looked like Tate was trying to set up a screen. He gets it off. It hit one of his linemen, and it's incomplete. It struck Marshall Yonda. As a result, their flags down. Brian Arakpo put the pressure on Tate.
I believe Marshall Yanda He thought, maybe Drew is throwing me a ball. After all, I'm a senior out here. Let me get a run.
I don't think he was the intended receiver on this play. It was a screen, but not to him.
So Coach Aquina wants something big to happen for his defense. Right there, he's not only helped out by great pressure, but the penalty. He actually had Sims open on the screen, and Marshall's got to let it go. It's tough, though, if you're big on that ball. Man, this is my chance.
Well, he's
I
all
could be a
fired
star
up for the game. We spoke with Marshall Yonda yesterday. He was looking forward to the one-on-one battle against Tim Crowder, the outstanding defensive end, one of the finalists for the Hendricks Award as the top defensive end of the country. Yonda, another one of those farm boys. He's from Anamosa, Iowa.
Illegal touching on the offense, number 73. Penalties declined. Down will be third.
About 40 minutes north of Iowa City. We asked him about that yesterday. He said, yeah, our town is unfortunately most known for being the home of a maximum security state penitentiary. But he's trying to provide maximum security for Tate as he battles Crowder today. He grew up on a dairy farm that they've converted into a pig farm. And his sister for a lot of long days doing the calf chores on the family farm. Tate out of the gun, 3rd down and 13. Tate steps into a throw down the middle for the tight end, Chandler. Scott Chandler, another native Texan, with a terrific catch. He knew he was going to get walloped by Michael Griffin, and he still hung on for a 29-yard completion.
Recognition by Drew Tate. You'll see Scott Chandler right here. He's going to split the safeties. When you have cover 2, which they do have, your middle linebacker has to run with the tight end. You cannot let him get over the top of you and get in between the safeties. That's pure recognition, easy pitch and catch. Chandler shows toughness knowing he's going to take the shot. When he got hit, beat Bobineau down the middle of the field.
Bobineau went out of the game for a bit, back in for Texas, a middle linebacker. Sims trying to spin away, cannot escape. Sergio Kindle got a carry and running back earlier in this game. The true freshman from Dallas wrapped up. Sims behind the line. Parade magazine said Kindle was the best two-way player in the country in high school last year at Woodrow Wilson in Dallas. Rushed for over 5,600 yards in his last 3 seasons in high school. Be interesting to see what his future brings in terms of a position in the Longhorns.
So what, he's the only guy in the field tonight that will have a carry and a tackle. I promise you that from the tailback position. Really, the future's bright for the Texas Longhorn linebacking corps. Norton,
timeout.
Kindle.
University of Iowa, timeout number 1.
We're looking at 2nd and goal from the 9. Leading 14-3. To the Alamo Bowl as Texas battles Iowa from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Due to time constraints, we are moving ahead in our coverage.
Again, this is the tempo that Texas is changing now. They're going no huddle. 11 personnel. That counts as 1 running back and 1 tight end. Then you have your 3 wide receivers on top of that. You see Iowa's defensive linemen. They don't substitute a lot. They got their hands on their hips.
Iowa's dominated the first half. If this game turns around, they'll be talking about the penalty and the subsequent interception for a long time in the great state of Iowa. Young knocked out of bounds by Charles Godfrey.
Well, Charles Godfrey's been playing tonight, Sean.
Yes,
not only good coverage, but also his run support has been outstanding. Good, sure tackler. I get excited when I see corners that actually like to hit. I'm seeing 2 of them tonight in Ross and Godfrey.
There's Norm Parker. Started his coaching career as a high school coach in 1965. On to college ball in 1968, 65 years old. Rumors he might retire after this game. He said, no way, I'm coming back next year. I don't know what else to do, and my wife doesn't like me. McCoy throws, first down. Down to the 31-yard line. Cosby again, tackled by Adam Shada, 14 yards.
Well, there's the confidence in Colt McCoy. And as an Iowa defender, you see one guy can go outside and short. You got to know that somebody's coming in beside, and you see McCoy just waiting for that area to clear, and he delivers the ball with velocity. And his arm strength seems to be fine, and it's not getting weaker as the game has progressed, as it did earlier during the last 2 losses of the season.
success hurrying, but they really don't need to hurry now. McCoy down on a knee as he had trouble with the shotgun snap. Back at the 37-yard line. Ryan Gaddis covered him.
Simple took his eyes off the ball before he got the snap. Watch his head. His eyes are going to look up. They want to get the ball to Selvin.
Ball back at the 37-yard line. 2nd and 15. Iowa rear blitz. And Texas connects. Sweet at his knee down upon the reception at the 26-yard line. Adam Shada in coverage. About 4 yards short of the first down marker. 3rd and 4 with 1:20 to go in the half.
And a good recognition by Ushan on the blitz. It was a zone blitz, and it was coming from the offense's right side. Colt McCoy knew the weakness, where the weakness would be. Shada's playing deep. He just delivers to Swede in the weakness of the zone blitz.
McCoy rolls left and throws for a first down. Quan Cosby, the sophomore from Mart, Texas, coming off a career-high 7 catches against Texas A&M. That one's good for 6 yards for Cosby. His 4th catch of this ball game. McCoy looking for Sweet in a one-on-one. Touchdown, Texas.
Iowa rarely plays man-to-man. Lyman Sweet down on the play.
Crashed into the photographers, it appeared, at the end of the play, and is hurt, grabbing at the back of his left leg.
You know, there's a reason why Norm Parker doesn't play a lot of man-to-man. It's tough duty for Charles Gottfried at 6 foot to match up against 6'5" Lyman Swede. The go man right there. Colt McCoy recognizes through to the back pylon where only his man can get in. A great job by Lyman Swede.
His 12th touchdown reception this season. That ties the Texas single season record set by Roy Williams in 2002.
And here's Colt McCoy, recognizes man. He throws to that back orange pylon. Perfect throw. Not bad coverage by Godfrey.
Only crashed into anybody. Just looked like Godfrey rolled up on the back of his legs. Oh, wait a minute. Like he might have run into one of the band members as he was peeling away from the stands.
Band members are tough.
Yeah, well, it looked like he ran toward them to celebrate the touchdown and might have helped create the collision. He was going to start to their sideline, and instead he's going to the locker room.
Oh. Well, he's giving this thumbs up, I'm okay sign, and you know, don't be laying out there in the field for 25 minutes. Get up and get going if you're all right. That's me. I'm sorry. But you know, come on. Alrighty then. Let's play ball.
Ryan Bailey to take the extra point. He'll be a Dean's List student in advertising. And the extra point good. Well, what a turn of events. It looked like Iowa was about to go up 21-3. Instead, they turn it over, and all of a sudden it's 14-10 after an 80-yard drive by Texas. All right, Grace, already an exciting day of college football. Congratulations to Frank Spaziani. A terrific job as the interim coach at Boston College.
A great win for him and those kids.
Well, to me, he would have been a great choice as the head coach at Boston College. I don't understand the choice they made. Good luck to Jeff Jagosinski. Leonard Lawrence, the kickoff, and Anthony Bowman will run it back for Iowa.
Either go into the woods or stay out of the woods, Anthony. Don't do both. Anthony hesitated down there at the goal line, which allowed the Texas defenders to come down there and swallow him up right around the 11-yard line. He's got to make a decision.
Led by Lamar Houston on the kickoff coverage for Texas. And you would think, given the late momentum turn here, Drew Tate and the Hawkeyes would be content with this field position just to get into the locker room with the lead. And they line up in a take-a-knee formation. Friends, you can help decide the Pontiac game-changing performance of the year. Vote at ESPN.com. Search Pontiac. Determine which school will win the $100,000 General Scholarship Fund contribution, courtesy of Pontiac. Iowa among the teams nominated. They're nominated for their goal line stand against Syracuse. In double overtime, the Orange had 8 tries from inside the 5 and did not score. One of the highlights of the season for Coach Ferentz. Let's check in with Rob Stone.
Well, Coach, what did the officials tell you on that overturned touchdown?
Well, they just said that our motion receiver covered up the outside guy, so he was technically ineligible. Yeah, we saw it a little bit differently. What a surprise.
Yeah, that was a little bit obvious by your reaction. How do you address that late 14-point swing to your team in the locker room?
We just got to keep playing. This is a 60-minute game. You know, the positive there is we drove the ball from our 3 down to their end. Obviously, we wanted to come out points, a touchdown or a field goal. But, you know, we still got 30 minutes. Anybody's ball game, so we just got to look forward.
Albert Young started at running back. We haven't seen much of him. Is he okay?
He'll be back in, yeah. He'll be back in. We like to rotate both guys. He's playing well, you know, so he'll be back in there.
Coach, appreciate your time.
Iowa had the edge in total offense, 245 to 163, but just a 4-point lead at the break. Here's Reese Davis, the Smith Barney halftime report.
ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
And we welcome you back to the 14th Alamo Bowl from San Antonio, Texas, inside the sold-out Alamo Dome. A very entertaining first half, and a surprise at the half. Iowa leads Texas 14-10. Sean McDonough with Chris Spielman. It looked like they were going to have the Hawkeyes, that is, a much bigger lead. In fact, they scored a touchdown. It looked like it was about to make it 21-3, but the touchdown got called back by a penalty.
Yeah, we're going to get into it in a little bit, but it was the proper call made by the Pac-10 officials that got the call right. Texas took advantage of it, and Colt McCoy went down there, scored a touchdown with a pass to Lima Swede.
Part of our game track presented by New York Life. Roger Gaskamp is an NCAA referee who's been watching the first half from our booth and is here to consult us. Roger, why don't you explain to us what you saw?
Sure, Sean. NCAA rule requires that a player, in order to catch a forward pass, must be eligible by number as well as by position. The position must be either into the line or in the backfield. This player was not in the backfield and was not on the end of the line, therefore ineligible. I think you can see that by the replay.
Yeah, when you see Scott Chandler when he came over, if he would have stayed back off a yard, he would have been okay. Watch Scott Chandler. Now watch him come up. As soon as he sneaks up right here, as soon as he steps up on the line of scrimmage, because there's already 2 guys on the end line that are on the line of scrimmage, he becomes ineligible. If he would have stayed back, they would have had a great play and a touchdown. He snuck up a little bit. Our replay showed that he did break the plane of the offensive line. Thus, he's determined on the line of scrimmage, ineligible. Great call by the officials. Way to be on top of it.
Thank you for your help, Roger.
It's nice having your own pocket official.
14-10 lead, because on the next play, Aaron Ross intercepted a pass in the end zone. Texas took over, down only 14-3, and marched the length of the field to score on a touchdown pass to Lima Swede. That made it 14-10 at the break, and the Longhorns, hoping to continue that momentum, will receive the opening kickoff of the second half from Kyle Schlicker.
Let's see how they come out, Sean, offensively. Remember, they started out with 21 personnel in the first quarter. Then they went to 11 personnel. 1 back, 1 tight, 3 wide. Spread Iowa out, was able to move the football with Colt McCoy. Slinging a rock.
Juan Cosby is a factor in special teams and in the receiving game. On a tough run to the 26. A moment ago, Rob Stone spoke with Mac Brown.
Coach, offensively speaking, what was different between the first and second quarters for you?
Well, I thought we spread them out a little bit. They probably thought Colt was hurt and would not be able to throw the ball, so they wadded it up. We didn't get our running game going, so we spread it out and went some no-huddle offense to get him going. Thank goodness he did.
How do you utilize that late 14-point swing in your favor here in the second half?
Well, we've got to go right back and do the same thing again. We were playing hard on defense, but Drew Tate is a really good football player, and we missed 2 third-down blitzes. He had the long play on the quick out, and other than that, we played well. So we just got to play with confidence, Rob.
Thanks, Coach, and good news, Lima Swede. Just a cramp of that hamstring. He'll be good to go.
He was not on the field for that first play from scrimmage at a half. Jermichael Findlay, the tight end, the catch. 5-yard gain on the play across the 30-yard line.
He's a good-looking redshirt freshman, Sean, a big tight end, and shows a lot of rack ability, run after catch once he gets his hands on the ball.
Swede standing with his helmet on the sideline, not on the field for this play either. There's Finley again, who statistically had the best season ever by a Texas tight end in the regular season with 23 catches and 3 touchdowns, all best ever among UT freshman tight ends, and they've had some good ones.
At 6'5", 220, can stretch the field. I tell you, Colt McCoy likes him. They came in together.
3rd down and 1. McCoy out of the shotgun with the instructions for the center, Lyle send line, and then the signals to the receivers out to the left. Play clock is still inoperable. That was the case for much of the first half. Billy Pittman the catch on the 1st down. Out to the 44-yard line, shoved out by Miguel Merrick. 9-yard pickup.
Just the growth of McCoy bringing over Selvin Young for the rollout pass, and he brought Selvin Young from the right to his left to give him an extra protector. Colt McCoy just rose behind Selvin Young, delivers the outcut to Pittman, thrown across his body.
Brown said at the half they went to the no huddle to hurry up and part to get Colt McCoy into a rhythm, and it worked at the end of the half, and it's carrying over into the second half. Billy Pittman the catch. Marcus Pascal the coverage. 24 yards on the gain, and again Texas moves to the line quickly.
Well, again, it's just recognition, hitting a seam route, the weakness of the defense, throwing a skinny post, and against the cover two, you have no linebacker in the middle of the field. It's just easy pickings for Colt McCoy and Billy Pittman.
Even at back-to-back big games near the end of the regular season. 7 catches against Oklahoma State, then 102 yards receiving their loss at Kansas State. Selvin Young taken down by Zach Gableman. The fill-in for Mike Klinkenberg, the leading tackler for Iowa, middle linebacker who couldn't play today because of a foot injury. Klinkenberg, their leading tackler, with 36 more than anybody else, but Gableman's done well filling in.
It's a nice little X-blitz by Norm Parker. Nobody picks up Gableman. He's able to take Selvin Young in the backfield. That 12% blitzing, that went out the window for this game.
Yeah, percentage is a lot higher. McCoy throws. It is caught by Nate Jones, his first catch. Adam Shada had the coverage. Just the 13th catch of the year for the junior from Texarkana, Texas. They're deep at wide receiver. Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, says we have 5 receivers we consider to be starters. They're interchangeable. 9 yards on that play. McCoy dropped. They would have had a first down. Billy Pittman couldn't hang on.
Talk about the rhythm, Sean, and you're right. You see Colt McCoy, even though that was dropped, started at the end of the first half with the rhythm and started this half with rhythm. Billy Pittman, use your hands. Don't let it get inside your pads, young man. Easy first down. Drive killer.
Pittman was a prolific quarterback in high school from Cameron, Texas. Threw for over 7,000 yards. Now a field goal try. Ryan Bailey for his career is 5 for 5, but his long is 26. The field goal he's made today. This would be by far the longest of his career. Plenty of leg, and it is good. So the second-year walk-on Ryan Bailey remains perfect, and Texas is within 1. We're back in San Antonio, Texas, home of the Alamo Bowl in its 14th year, and inside the Alamo Dome, the largest crowd ever to watch a sporting event in Alamo Dome history. 65,875 on hand. That's over capacity. Bob Cohen, the Alamo Bowl chairman, said this was the highest demand ever for tickets in the history of this game. Third sellout here in the last 5 years of the Alamo Bowl. Anthony Bowman running back the kickoff from Hunter Lawrence. And Lawrence, the kicker. stuck his face in and made a pretty sturdy tackle.
That's impressive for being probably a soccer guy coming in there and wrapping up those slide tackles with him. This is a good tackle. Putting his helmet across the bow, 1 step and wrap, 2 steps and squeeze. All right, you did your effort. Got knocked back a little bit, but at least you hit him.
Concerning athletic family, his mother, Karen Lawrence, lettered in gymnastics at the University of Texas. Drew Tate comes out throwing, and he's in trouble and down in the arms of Rashad Bobineau. First sack of the day for Texas.
The proverbial coverage sack. Iowa actually does a very nice job of picking up the blitzing linebackers. You see Perry coming in up from the top. Bobineau will sneak in here in a late delayed blitz where Drew's got to make a decision, either run it or throw it to the sidelines. But don't hold on to it. Good coverage sack by the Longhorns.
So 8 out of 13 in the first half for 193 yards. He's a 3-year starter at quarterback. Chuck Long, Matt Rogers, Matt Sherman, the only other 3-year starting quarterbacks for Iowa. Albert Young, the ball carrier, and Scott Derry made the stop.
Getting a little concerned if I'm Iowa, because I know the Texas staff sees what I see. When Albert Young's back there about 8 yards, it's run all the way. When he sneaks up to about 6.5 to 6 yards, it's been pass. It's kind of a little bit of a giveaway that they might want to check on.
Young big on that first drive, hasn't done much since. His coach Ferentz says he does alternate with Damian Sims, but it also looks like Young's been hobbled from time to time. Out of the shotgun in third, down in 11. 5 minutes into the third quarter. Tate bounces off the hit, but cannot escape Roy Miller. Roy Miller's had a huge game for Texas, the true sophomore. Played in this building in the 2005 High School U.S. Army All-American Bowl.
You got a late flag. You had Bowman and Terrell Brown out there scuffling it up. You got to control your emotions. The only thing you do is hurt your team.
There are 2 fouls on the play. After the play, personal foul, 84 on the offense, personal foul, number 5 on the defense. Those 2 penalties cancel. The down will be 4.
And that means a punt for Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Fenstermaker with 2 good punts in the first half. Punting to Aaron Ross. Ross's girlfriend of 3 years is the great track star Sanya Richards. #1 in the world in the quarter mile and the 200 meters, and he muffed the punt. Looked like Iowa recovered at the 34-yard line. Balls to the snapper down there at the bottom of the pile. It looked like Charles Godfrey came up with the football.
This one you might want to be able to replay right here, because it looks like he might have been down and see if his knee's down before the ball comes out. No, the ball, that's a good call by the officials. They're right on top of that. Ball was coming out before any part of his body touched.
Iowa going to the line quickly. Texas player without his helmet on, and now the officials stop the play.
Timeout, University of Texas.
We'll give Iowa credit. They went quickly, and they forced the timeout. The Longhorns were not lined up defensively.
Well, again, Sean, I mean, we have the ability to get the quick replay up here as the booth, and what we saw was certainly a fumble. Where the ball was coming out before Aaron Ross actually hit the ground.
Rare mistake by one of the best punt returners in the country, Aaron Ross.
I think the fees are.
Iowa to try to get momentum back on its side and capitalize on the mistake by Aaron Ross. The Hawkeyes lead by a point. They once led 14-3. They thought they had scored a touchdown. That would make it 20 or 21-3. That was called back by penalty. Texas has scored 10 unanswered points. Actually 13 unanswered in all. Play action fake. Tate decides to run and gets upended near the 30 by Marcus Griffin. Second to last game of the regular season, Texas gave up 45 points in their loss at Kansas State. We talked with Iowa folks about what they learned from that. Play action pass was very successful for K-State and getting their quarterback out on the edge.
Yeah, and that's what they're trying to do right there off the play action, get Drew on the edge where he has a decision. What Texas has done, they're doing a better job of, Sean. They're playing cover one. That simply means they're playing man-to-man on all eligible receivers with a safety deep. They're doing a good job of blitzing linebackers and playing that cover one, which means one safety deep, everybody else man.
And a 6 for Tate. Now Albert Young. He gets very little. And then a Roy Miller again. Frank Ocam near the pile as well. Again, the 25-second clock is inoperable. And the officials do have a mechanism by which they can communicate with the quarterbacks. Drew Tate, the back judge, keeps track of the time, and he's right there in the line of sight. Back near the end zone. When the play clock gets down to 5, he'll raise his hand and let the quarterback know he needs to get going. Tate out of the gun. 3rd down and 3. Here comes a blitz. Tate got rid of it, but it's batted down by Michael Griffin. Drew Kelson, a backup linebacker, came on the blitz. If it was flag football, Tate would have been down. He managed to get the throw off.
Now, I want to see if Michael Griffin got away with one right here. Trying to look to me like he had his left arm hooked on the receiver, but yonder Marshall got away with a takedown hold. And Drew throws one away. And we'll see if Griffin's left hand is getting there with the receiver. Tough to tell from that angle, but a good play by Griffin nonetheless.
Now a 45-yard field goal try by Kyle Schligger. It matched the longest of his season. He hooked it wide left. Line drive, well wide. Well, the muff punt does not hurt the Horns.
ESPN College Football, the Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by the all-new 2007 Wrangler Unlimited, a new species from G.
Back inside the Alamo Dome, the 14th annual Alamo Bowl from San Antonio. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Rob Stone, happy to have you with us. Iowa dominated earlier, but momentum is tilted back to the Longhorns. They survived the problem on the punt. And now they begin this series 1st and 10 from their own 28. Lima Sweet is on the field in this possession for Texas. McCoy throws a beautiful ball right on target to Jamal Charles. He will score. Flag down back behind the line of scrimmage. But it'll be picked up. It's against Iowa, 72 yards, and Texas takes its first lead of the football game. And with that throw, Colt McCoy ties the NCAA single-season freshman record for touchdown passes, 29, matching the mark of David Neal of Nevada back in 1998.
Sean, you want to talk about accuracy right there. It's a great call by Mack Brown. Put Charles one-on-one with Mike Humpel. And actually, Hump had pretty decent coverage on him, but the ball was...
On the play, roughing the passer on the defense, number 92. That penalty enforced on the kickoff. Touchdown stands.
Yeah, Webema was late rushing, but the ball was so well thrown, even though he had good coverage. Charles went ahead and beat him one-on-one, and you saw the sprinter-like speed for the finish.
Well, the momentum in this game seemingly turned on the touchdown for Iowa that was called back by the penalty. Subsequent interception. Texas trailed 14-3 at that time. Now they lead 20-14 as Ryan Bailey kicks the extra point.
Well, it's tough duty right here if you're Mike Humpel and you're trying to guard this guy one-on-one, this Texas State sprint champion. And you see right here, Humpel does a good job of staying with him. He's staying with him. He's running through. But watch the ball. Just a beautiful touch ball. Charles with the over-the-shoulder catch. And even though Humpel was a state hurdler finalist at Iowa, it doesn't compete with the state sprint champion of Texas.
Norm Parker, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, said Charles is as fast as any running back they faced this year. They'll face some speedy backs in the Big Ten, particularly given they played Ohio State and Michigan this year. Colt McCoy was a big question mark when the season began. Year one after Vince Young, Longhorn Nation concerned, who would be the quarterback? McCoy and Jevin Sneed, a true freshman, competed throughout the spring. Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, said it was a coin flip after spring ball, but McCoy got a lot better over the summer, was very impressive in their fall camp, earned the job. But as Greg Davis said, if you told us in August he'd be the National Freshman of the Year at the end of the season, we would not have believed it. And the biggest reason why they're allowed him, he is so accurate, 69% for the year, and that was a great example of it on the touchdown.
Yeah, and Sean, he was accurate because he wasn't really letting it loose in the beginning of the year. As the year progressed, man, he just slings the rock everywhere.
The walk-off for the roughing the passer, Greg Johnson, boots it out of the back of the end zone. While we were away, Drew Tate went to the locker room under his own power. He sprinted into the tunnel, but he has not returned yet. So Jake Christensen is coming into the ball game for Iowa from Lockport, Illinois, a redshirt freshman. Started against Northern Illinois earlier this season and played well. Threw for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns and a home win over the Huskies, their only win in the last 6 games. Albert Young smothered by Scott Derry. Loss of 3.
Well, Scott Derry just beats it's easy pickings for him when he's got a wide receiver trying to block him. He sees when he come on the blitz, just cut off Albert Young at the pass. And right there, you're trying to have Brodell block a blitzing linebacker, and no shot. Not with a guy on the mission like Derry.
A junior from Pearland, Texas, near Houston. First-year starter, missed all of last season with an ankle injury. 2nd and 13. Tough spot for Christensen. Momentum on the side of the Horns. The crowd roaring. He manages to get away, and now he'll run. Flags down. Christensen down to the 27. Looked like Mike Elgin might have taken down Roy Miller. Coming up after the game, Matt Stafford leads Georgia against Virginia Tech at the Chick-fil-A Bowl on ESPN tonight. Don't like to interrupt the referee. Show respect for authority. That's 8 Eastern time, the Chick-fil-A Bowl.
Half the distance to the goal.
Or now he's interrupting me.
That's right.
Enough of that stuff.
I won't stand for that anymore.
Capital One Bowl Week. Also available on ESPN HD and ESPN Radio. Virginia Tech and Georgia haven't met since 1932.
Tough duty for a freshman quarterback facing that hokey defense. Texas looks like they got a little talking to about coming out ready to play.
Well, a lot of people wondered what their mindset would be. 3 games ago, they were 9-1, 4th in the BCS standings, thinking about a Big 12 championship and a BCS game, maybe the national championship game. Instead, 2 losses, no conference championship game or conference title. They're in the Alamo Bowl, but excited to be here. Rashad Bobineau dropped Albert Young at the 10-yard line.
You know, you got to hang your hat on something. And when we talked to the players and coaches of Texas, to a man, they all said a 10-win season, which is something to be admired and proud of. I mean, that's tough duty in today's day and age of parity in college football to get 10 wins. Outstanding season.
Christensen played in that 2005 U.S. Army All-American Bowl right here in the Alamo Dome, and his mates were moving early.
A lot of times a new quarterback, different cadence, different rhythm kind of throws off the offensive line.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Marshall Yonda, the guilty party. Here's Rob Stone.
Well, Sean, I'm digging best I can to get you an update on Drew Tate. The way they dispense the medical information is they have a retired sheriff on the sideline that everything goes through. So he does not leave the sideline during the game, so obviously he is not in the locker room. I can tell you this, Drew Tate, as of now at least, is not in the x-ray room.
Back to the 5-yard line, 3rd down and 25. Jake Christensen, quarterback draw. He's dumped for a loss. Back at the 2 by Drew Kelson. The backup linebacker. He's played running back, safety, and linebacker at Texas. Good special teams player. He's made a couple of nice plays here in the second half.
Yeah, this is what I love about Dwayne Aquina. I mean, he's got 3rd and forever. He does not call out the dogs, and in fact, he says hunt dogs. He keeps blitzing no matter the choices and circumstances, just to get the momentum going and keep his guys hungry. Great call by Dwayne Aquino.
Andy Fenstermaker punting out of the back of the end zone. Aaron Ross standing at the 37-yard line. He had trouble fielding the last punt. Wobbly spiral. Caught at the 39. Ross looking for help. Still needs help. And does not get it. Loss of 3 on the return of a 36-yard punt. But still excellent field position for Colt McCoy and the Horns, leading by 6 with 4:12 to go in the 3rd.
Football in Texas is huge, and growing up I wanted to be just like Troy Aikman. My dad was my high school coach, and he's developed me into who I am today. I love classic rock, but in the locker room I got to listen to the rap with all the other guys.
He was an interesting young man to speak with. We enjoyed the visit with Colt McCoy yesterday. Coached by his dad, Brad, at Jim Ned High School in West Texas. He was 34-2 as a starter playing for his dad. 2 times All-State, also the team punter. He threw for over 9,300 yards in high school. Tops all time in Texas 2A high school football. That's one of the smaller classifications. Operating a great field position to start this possession, and getting Grady. Limas Swede, the intended receiver, looked like he pushed off Adam Shada and got away with it, and the pass fell incomplete.
And he's got his partner Miguel Merrick coming over and making an argument for him, but it's good cover by Shada, which is tough duty covering a 6'5" Limas Swede. Sean, just it's nice to have the versatility of Texas to be able to run 2 different type of offenses with success. There's Drew Tate coming back out, joining the game.
2nd and 10. And a handoff to Selvin Young. A 2-yard pickup. Tripped up by Kenny Webama. Young's a 5th-year senior. Graduated earlier this month with a degree in sociology and criminal justice. Tate getting loose. They need the defense to stop the momentum right here. Texas scored 10 points in the span of 3 minutes and 45 seconds to take the lead for the first time. McCoy in this quarter 6 out of 8 for 125 yards and a touchdown. He'll throw. Very little pressure. Now he's under duress. Pulls up to throw, and it is incomplete. Intended for Nate Jones along the far sideline.
You know, you made the statement earlier. He's no Vince Young, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't run around well. I mean, he's got great feet, and right there, he just outran Mike Humpel to the sidelines. Then he had the awareness to step back and just threw the ball a little high. But he's a great athlete. Now, he's no Vince Young, but there is no Vince Young but Vince Young.
That's right. Left Texas as a Texas legend when in the NFL. Some wondered if his skills would adapt to the NFL, and he's the talk of the league right now. Well, apparently you didn't get what he wanted for Christmas, those 2 front teeth. Texas with a decision to make here on 4th down and 8.
I think you got to punt the football. The defenses seem to play well. They're playing better man-to-man pass defense.
When they took the delay of game penalty on purpose.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Now they'll punt from the 45. Mack Brown, dating back to his time in North Carolina, has taken his teams to a bowl game 15 years in a row. That is the 2nd longest active streak behind only Bobby Bowden. Greg Johnson will punt. Mack Brown has now had 17 straight winning seasons. That's also 2nd among active coaches behind Bobby Bowden. Dominique Douglas catches the short punt, and he got brushed, and there is a flag now. Tully Jansen, the snapper, ran into Dominique Douglas.
A heck of a job by Dominique Douglas to come up and make the catch on the run to save valuable yardage. It's kind of a brain cramp right there. Just stay up. No, I think he just maybe, I don't know if he tripped over his feet.
After the play,
or he's a long snapper after all.
On the kicking team, number 91. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
I think he tried to stop Sean. He just he got caught up in the rubber stuff flies over here in these field turf fields.
He looked like our statistician Dick Bossing coming back from the Riverwalk last night. Here's Rob Stone.
That was a good one, Sean. All right, quick update on Drew Tate. The medical staff still has not told us what sent him to the locker room, but you know, I'm creative. I get to do hard work there. If you look at the interior of his arms where the crease is at the elbow, they had to bandage up both of them because they were bleeding. Looked like he had to go in for double IVs, if you ask me.
Albert Young burst through a big hole across midfield and out of bounds at the Texas 46. Reminiscent of their opening drive, which Young powered. That's a 22-yard run, his 2nd run of 20-plus in the football game. Bobineau the tackle.
Watch Marshall Yander right here and Chandler getting a block. But Albert Young's 8 yards deep. What's that tell you? Run. That's Moyaki. Excuse me. They both get a block, turn their defenders out, and Albert Young with fresh legs finds the crease. Good vision by Albert Young.
Iowa trying to weather the storm and perhaps reclaim the lead with a touchdown and an extra point here in the waning moments of the 3rd quarter. Tate on the design roll to the right. The catch made by Brodell. And closing quickly, Aaron Ross. 6-yard completion to Brodell, who was one of the stars of the first half. He had 3 catches for 114 yards and the 63-yard touchdown. That's right after the last regular season game, when Brodell had 159 yards receiving in their loss at Minnesota.
Yeah, that was the same play they scored a touchdown on. This time Aaron Ross had a better jump on the ball. Didn't give Brodell time to make any moves after the catch. And broke on it, made a good solid physical tackle like he's supposed to. The guy down here matched up with Charles.
Tate after communicating the play, right on target. Dominique Douglas down to the 23-yard line. Minute and a half to go in the 3rd. 17-yard completion.
The growth of Dominique Douglas. Beautiful throw by Drew Tate. The intentional throw behind because he sees Aaron Ross playing on top of the wide receiver. When he's playing on top of the wide receiver, Drew Tate and the receiver both recognize the position of the corner. Drew Tate delivers to the back shoulder. Dominique growing as we watch him as a freshman. Right before our very eyes.
Dominique Douglas grew up in inner city Detroit playing on the playgrounds. Ken O'Keefe, the coordinator, says he does a great job of using his body to get open. Here's Brodell. On the move again. Touchdown, Iowa.
Well executed. You want to know why I think Drew Tate's an NFL quarterback? Because of this, because he just makes people around him better. You see people run. Brodell's fooled him with the speed. He's deceptively fast. And again, you see heels touching rear end. You know that young man's moving. They didn't get a hand on him or a shot on him.
He was a sprint star in high school. Brodell set his school record at Ankeny High School in Iowa in the 100 at 10.4 in the 200 meters as well. Won the 100-meter dash at the 2003 Drake Relays in Iowa. And he's one of the fastest men in his state. And he has demonstrated that blazing speed against this very fast Texas defense today. Schlicker's extra point. Now the difference in the game. Iowa, with Tate back on the field, reclaims the lead 21-20.
Andy Brodell right here. Here's the sign of his speed. First of all, the shake and bake on Ross. And Sean, you see the finishing speed. And again, I think he fooled a little bit of Texas, not knowing where he came from. I thought he ran into Bill Curry. Same play, he scored a touchdown just before. Again, the speed and the vision and the ability to run after the catch, not many guys can match it.
When we spoke with Ken O'Keefe, the offensive coordinator for Iowa, about the Texas defense, the first thing he said is they have remarkable team speed. And from time to time today, Brodell's made them look slow by comparison.
Yeah, and again, that's the team speed of the Big Ten always gets knocked down. And I'm telling you right now, that myth is going away and going away fast, because I know Texas is shocked by what they've seen as far as team speed goes, especially from the receiver end of the Iowa Hawkeyes. But that's just by Drew Tate, huh? Just that's why you want that guy, right? He's a leader. He makes people better.
A tough year, largely due to injuries, but as Kirk Barron said, he is still our best chance to win. Schlicker's kickoff brought back by Quan Cosby to the 27-yard line. Tomorrow night, last call for Larry Coker as head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. He'll lead the Canes in a battle against Nevada in the MPC Computers Bowl in Boise, Idaho. That should be a close one, and Nevada's last 4 bowl games have been decided by a total of 8 points. It's tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN, a part of Capital One Bowl Week, and it's also available on ESPN HD.
Well, I challenge you guys to play hard for Larry Coker. Play hard for your coach. He's a good man, did a good job down there.
Terrific man who did a very nice coaching job there. I think underappreciated. McCoy out of the shotgun. Short throw. Again to Jermichael Finley, the tight end. And he ran into the muscles of Edmund Miles.
Edmund
about 4.
Yeah, Edmund Miles is not a farmer, but his girlfriend, his dad's a pig farmer, and he went to the pig farm. He couldn't wait to get off the pig farm.
Yeah, he said his girlfriend Lindsay invited him to the family farm in Preston, Iowa. Said partly had the difficulty was the smell, to be quite honest about it. He said that, and the fact we were so far out in the country that my cell phone wouldn't work. Finley again short of the first down, 36-yard line on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Back and forth we go. Texas once trailed. They took the lead by 6, but Kirk Barron's team has rallied back. The Hawkeyes by 1 with 15 minutes to go in regulation in downtown San Antonio. John McDonough, Chris Spielman, and Rob Stone were at the sold-out Alamo Dome. Largest crowd in the history of this building, which opened in 1993. Has hosted a couple of basketball Final Fours and a women's basketball Final Four. Better than 65,000 in-house. They've watched a good one. Iowa and Texas. The Hawkeyes by 1 as the 4th quarter begins. 3rd down and 2. Longhorns, and they convert. On a quick hitter to Quan Cosby out to the 44-yard line. A gain of 8.
And that's a nice job of Crosby coming back for the football, not standing there and letting Godfrey jump all over him. He just works his way back, and Cole trusts Cosby that he's going to do that.
Out of the gun again. Texas has rushed for 15 yards in the game. I'll add to that total as Selden Young goes across midfield to the Iowa 49. Zach Gableman the tackle. Here's a look at today's game track presented by New York Life. Texas has leaned very heavily on the right arm of Colt McCoy. 2 touchdowns, giving him 29 for the season. The NCAA record for a freshman, tied with David Neal of Nevada. Andy Brodell's been the big playmaker for Iowa. 143 yards receiving on 5 catches, a couple of long touchdowns. The most recent put Iowa back on top. Now they're getting the running game going. Jamal Charles bounces his way down to the 29. Edmund Miles the stop.
Jamal Charles got nicked up a little bit right there. He delivered a blow to Humple. But watch it burst, Sean. This is what you can't see. Check, check, bam. There's that extra gear that not a lot of people have. There's where he got popped a little bit. He delivered a blow to Humple, and I think he hurt himself a little bit after that shot that he gave to number 44.
2 plays ago, they had 15 yards rushing for the game. Now they have 42. Spent a lot of time trying to improve the running game in the bowl preparation. It hasn't paid off so far today. Juan Cosby to catch. And it isn't as if they haven't run the ball this year, Chris. They've averaged 170 yards per game rushing. That's 30th in the nation. But as Greg Davis and Mac Brown said, we haven't had the big explosive plays that we're so used to getting last year from Vince Young, prior year Cedric Benson, Ricky Williams. They've done it in little dribs and drabs.
Well, and part of that is that defenses don't have Vince Young to worry about, so they don't have to sign an extra guy to watch Vince Young.
That opened up the running game for others.
Yeah.
Quick throw and catch short of the first down. It's Nate Jones again. It'll be another 3rd and short. Miguel Merrick made the tackle. And the coaches feel the running game has just been a little off. A block not held quite long enough. A crease just missed by the running back.
Offside on the defense. Number 99 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Ryan Madison, a junior from Mishawaka, Indiana. Grew up there while his dad was coaching at Notre Dame.
Yardage gain on the penalty results in a 1st down.
Greg Madison, now the defensive coordinator at the University of Florida. And when this game is over, Brian's going to head out to Arizona shortly to be with his family and act kind of as a consultant. I mean, the Hawkeyes played Iowa State. Brian has a few ideas that Dad might want to incorporate into the defensive game plan.
Boy, Greg and Charlie Strong both have done a good job as co-coordinators down there at Florida. And yeah, well, Brian, I can't give any secrets away about Ohio State.
Brian said he gets asked all the time, how come you didn't play at Notre Dame when your dad was there? He said, my mom didn't like my position coach because I went there. McCoy looking toward the end zone, didn't have anybody open, and he throws it away. Got taken down by Owebama right after he got rid of it. Subway Fresh Fact, Texas. Ranked in 107 consecutive AP polls. Mac Brown has done a remarkable job. Took over in the late 90s. They've been a fixture in the polls virtually ever since, trying to win their 5th bowl game in the last 6 seasons.
Yeah, Texas football was like a sleeping giant that went dormant for a while, and Mac Brown woke that sleeping giant. And back to what you expect and what I expect Longhorn football to be about.
First ever appearance in the Alamo Bowl. They're locked up in a tight one with Iowa. Juan Cosby, the ball came out after he was down at the 14. Zach Gableman popped it out. Godfrey lost some headgear.
And this is
it was the helmet that came out, not the ball.
Good thing. This is what Iowa does well. Now they'll keep the ball in front of them, and they'll give away the dinks and dunks. And down here in the red zone, because the field shrinks and they bring the end line of the end zone as your 12th man, this is where they get a little adventurous and come with blitzing packages.
7 catch for Cosby. That matches his single game best for his career. He's been a favorite target in recent weeks for McCoy. On 3rd down, a throwback. And they'll be very close to the first down, apparently just short. Saving tackle by Mike Humple, the junior linebacker, as he took down Jermichael Finley. And now a decision for Mac Brown on 4th down. In less than a yard, a field goal puts them ahead, and they have a field goal kicker who hasn't missed. I think you have to take the points right now in the lead with 11 and a half to go, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you take the points. And I'll tell you, that was a good job by Mike Humple. Tough duty covering Finley. It was a throwback play, much similar to what Iowa scored, but Chandler was lined up illegally. They ran it, but Humple, good disciplined coverage, covered Finley and was able to eliminate the yards after catch by Finley.
So now Ryan Bailey. 2 for 2 today, 6 for 6 since becoming the field goal kicker in the middle of the year. Greg Johnson was handling the punting and place kicking. He had a groin injury. Now a timeout called. The play clock running down.
Timeout. University of Texas.
Thrown into the fire in Nebraska, and his first kick was that game winner against the Huskers in the final 30 seconds. We'll have another big kick after this. ESPN HD presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays. Well, an interesting development. Looked like the field goal was the call originally for Mack Brown, but after considering it during the timeout, he's going to go for it on 4th down and 1 from just inside the 10, trailing by 1 point with just under 11 minutes to go. Selvin Young is the tailback. Luke Tiemann, the fullback. McCoy, play action pass. He's going to run for it. First down, down to the 2. Great call on the play. 8-yard gain, and Miguel Merrick saved a touchdown for Iowa.
They had a great call because they brought the motion, and what Iowa does is they slant their defensive line to the motion right there. Greg Madison gets caught up inside, does not keep contained, which allowed Colt McCoy to make the decision to run or throw. Easy decision when you have all that green in front of you to make the run. An excellent call by Coach Davis and Coach Brown. One that they believed they would get on Iowa. Greg's got a hold contained on that. There was nobody there. Contained meaning nobody outside. Brian Madison. His dad's coaching, not Greg.
First and goal from the 2. Gordon Shipley, the motion man. Selvin Young, the touchdown score. 3 would have been good for the lead, but 6 is better for Texas. And they'll go for 2. Try to get up by 7 with 10:48 to go. Some of the offense coming off the field. Mack Brown alerting them to the fact that he wants to go for the 2-point conversion. Selvin's family. They made the trip from Houston.
Just a good job of the big fellas getting lower, blowing Iowa off the ball for that one. I'm a sweet big target down here.
First 2-point conversion try this season for Texas. McCoy running out of time, throws to the back of the end zone, incomplete. Well defended by Iowa. 10 over Billy Pittman. Marcus Pascal was nearest in coverage, the senior from Largo, Florida. When we spoke with Selvin Young yesterday, he said Colt McCoy is fearless. Tough run by McCoy set up Young's go-ahead score.
ESPN College Football, the Alamo Bowl, is brought to you by ESPN Game Plan. Buy your bowl game package on ESPN.com's Game Plan online and catch over 20 bowl games live and on demand.
It will be a happy night along the Riverwalk for the fans of one of these teams. They have certainly given us another entertaining Alamo Bowl game here in San Antonio. A back-and-forth game. Iowa the early lead. Texas rallied to go ahead. Then Iowa reclaimed the lead. Now it's Texas again with Greg Johnson kicking off after the 2-yard touchdown, having a 72-yard drive that took over 5 minutes. Anthony Bowman took a knee. Texas defending a national championship. They selected Colt McCoy to replace Vince Young. They won their season opener, but then lost the 1-versus-2 showdown to Ohio State. That was just a momentary setback as Texas rattled off 8 straight wins thereafter, including wins over Oklahoma and Nebraska. But they ended the year with consecutive losses at Kansas State and at home to Texas A&M to arrive here 9-3. Hoping for a 10th win for the 6th straight year. They could be the only team in the country that would make that claim. Tate slow to get up after the completion to Trey Strauss. And there is a flag down. First catch of the day for the redshirt freshman from Avon Lake, Ohio, for 13 yards.
A late hit right there on Drew Kelson.
Roughing the passer on the defense, number 4, for helmet-to-helmet contact. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And Trey Strauss, another young receiver who's improved over the bowl break. I was talking to Kirk Ferentz about Trey. I said, Coach, what's he need to do to get better? He said he's a great hustler. He does everything he has. He's just got to keep that even keel. Just keep relaxed a little bit. The more relaxed he becomes, the better player he will be. That was a nice route and a good job of catching the ball with his hands.
You just like him because he's from Ohio.
How'd he get away?
Strauss had 3 of his 12 catches in the regular season in the regular season finale at Minnesota. Well, win or lose, Tate has had one of his best games of the year here in his final game for the Hawkeyes. And he throws it away under pressure from Tim Crowder. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
It's a long developing play. He had Brodell coming over the middle. And again, Texas is starting to get their ears pinned back and coming on the pass rush where Brodell didn't have enough time to get across and let the route develop. So Drew made a good senior decision and throwing it to his teammates on the sidelines.
Nowhere near as much offense for Iowa here in the second half. They have 2 tight ends on the field now. Damian Sims, the lone back, on their own 48, down by 5 points. Approaching 10 minutes to go. Sims danced for a couple. Michael Griffin made the tackle. The story Michael Griffin told us yesterday. He has 8 pit bulls.
Yeah.
And he brought the oldest of the 8 pit bulls, Shaq, to practice one day to meet the team. He said Shaq got out of the car and started running toward the team. He said most of the guys on the team just started running away.
Wouldn't you?
I would too.
Yeah. I tell you, Michael Griffin did a good job of disguising coming up late and being an extra linebacker right there. He was able to tackle Sims because he was the on-block player because he showed it so late and came in the box late.
3rd down along 7. Texas crowd making it difficult for Tate. And he didn't get the play off. He did not get the play off. Play clock still not working. The officials communicating the time to the quarterback. And
prior to the snap, delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So it's a 5-yard walk-off and the fiery Tate in the face of some of his teammates. Here's Rob.
Sean, we'll add to that Michael Griffin dog-loving story. He takes his pit bulls to shows. He owns 8 of them, 3 which live with him at school. He's hardcore with this training. Now, he's devoted to him, but he's been known to put them on weight gainer and even has one that he's called Shaq, the oldest. He straps it to a 2-door Ford Explorer and pulls it for exercise. Sounds like Shaq and Spielman would get along just fine.
And named another one of a man. We said, why man? He said, I got him when he was 6 months old. He was 103 pounds. He was already a man. Tate on the run. Man wide open. It's Brodell for a first down to the Texas 38-yard line. Brandon Foster, a backup cornerback, had the coverage. 17 yards, and the Hawkeyes are still alive on this possession.
You see Brodell right here. It's a zone coverage. He just sits down in the open zone area, allowing Drew Tate to buy time with his feet, and he just delivers the strike. You got 2 guys covering dirt over to your right while Brodell finds the open area, sits down, and he's coming alive, as with Drew Tate, who's going out a champion.
6 catches, 160 yards for Brodell. Look at 159 yards receiving against Minnesota in the regular season finale. How about that for back-to-back games? A dump off to Scott Chandler, the younger brother of the former Iowa quarterback Nathan Chandler, who's in business in their dad's real estate development and mini storage company here in the state of Texas. The gain to the 32 of about 6.
I've been impressed with Scott Chandler. And as far as the size of the next level tight end, and to me, Sean, I don't know what his time is, but I know his football speed. His football speed is outstanding for 260 pounds and 6'7".
Damian Sims, nice cut. And a first down to the 21. Michael Griffin made the tackle. Well, so many of these players for Iowa are projects. Kirk Ferentz had the funny line we visited the other day. He said, if my sister can recognize that they're a great player, we don't get that kind of guy, by and large. The Texases of the world do.
Right. One of them is like that, Sean, Mike Elgin. You see how he finishes and finishes and finishes. He puts the guy on his back, and Damian Sims trusts that Mike Elgin is able to do that.
And he's an example of one of those guys we're talking about. He came to Iowa as a 185-pound linebacker. Gained 50 pounds as a freshman. Was a DN for a while, now an offensive lineman. Tate started stumbling after he got flushed from the pocket, got back near the line of scrimmage. At the 22, perhaps a loss of a yard. And one of the guys in this program does a great job is Chris Doyle, the strength and conditioning coach, because they get guys like Elgin, like Scott Chandler. Chandler, now the tight end, was 215 pounds, a wide receiver in high school. And there's a look at Chris, fine player at Boston University. Chandler's now 260 pounds. And you need a great strength coach in a program like this where you have to develop players.
And the coaches have to recruit and project how big guys are going to be.
Screen. Sims. Looked promising when the ball was in the air, but that speedy Texas defense rallied quickly. Michael Griffin and Rashad Bobineau.
That's right. And Rashad Bobineau does a great job of submarining under potential blockers and cutting the legs out of Sims, because if Bobineau is picked up by Raphael Eubanks, the center, that's off to the races. They're in man-to-man coverage. He's running.
Bobineau started every game of his career for Texas. Today, number 26. Hawkeye fans hoping for another third down conversion. 3rd and 9 from the Texas 21. 6.5 to go. The Horns lead by 5.
There's the blitz.
The blitz. Tate throws behind his intended receiver, Andy Brodell. And now a decision for Kirk Ferentz with 6:24 to go. And he's going to send the field goal team out and try to get within 2.
I'll tell you, that's a nice job of Iowa's offensive linemen backs picking up the blitz. And Drew Tate, one of the first and only bad passes that he's made tonight behind Brodell. He was open.
He's been emotional throughout his career. Early in his career, he was the fiery leader, and the team fed off his emotion. Lately, his emotion has been viewed as a divisive influence by some as the team has struggled. Kyle Schlicker's kick from 38 is good. We asked Tate about that yesterday. He said, yep, sometimes people are just looking for an excuse. It used to be that my emotion helped the team. Now people want to say I'm a bad influence, that I'm too hard on my teammates, but they know that's not true. And Boston College, a winner on a last-second field goal in the Meineke Car Care Bowl over Navy. And now on an Iowa field goal, the Hawkeyes back within 2 points in the Longhorns. Still a long way to go. 6:20 remaining.
Don't forget now, I was left 10 points out on the field. A touchdown called back for an illegal receiver downfield, plus the missed field goal. So they're hanging in there, plus the blown opportunities.
You know, they were mad about that call at the time, but I think when they see the tape, they'll realize it was the right call. And the officials were not responsible for that turn in momentum. It was their lack of execution on the next play after a good call. Quan Cosby out to the 21-yard line. Well, we remind you again that tomorrow night it's the MPC Computers Bowl, 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN and ESPN HD. Miami and Nevada. Miami has not lost 7 games in a season since 1977. They'll have to win tomorrow to avoid that. Their 7th loss. That's tomorrow night.
You and I will be heading over to Pasadena for the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all.
On ESPN Radio. McCoy out of the shotgun. And a handoff to Selvin Young. Pulled down after a gain of 1 by Zach Gableman. Well, they're without Mike Klinkenberg, their outstanding middle linebacker and team's leading tackler for the season. But Gableman has given them a terrific performance.
Outstanding performance. He's a fifth-year senior. You know, this is probably the last time he'll ever put on a helmet, and he's playing his heart out for his teammates in his university. Doing a great job.
Stats have evened up, indicative of the way the game has gone. Two proud programs, and they've given it a great effort here today. And Michael Finley made the catch. And Zach Gableman made another tackle. In for Klinkenberg, who did dress hoping that he could play on a sprained foot. An injury suffered a couple of weeks ago. Unable to go. Klinkenberg, not only second team All Big Ten as a linebacker, one of the great students in the country, 3.98 grade point average, another first team academic All-American. Iowa had 3 of them this year, the only team in the country with that many. And a tough year for Klinkenberg. His dad Myron died suddenly of a heart attack at age 61 in September. The catch and the quick tackle short of the first down. Billy Pittman the catch. Charles Godfrey flattened him at the 30. And the Longhorns will likely have to punt unless Mac Brown wants to be very risky in his own end.
It's a disciplined coverage right there by Godfrey, making sure he has his man, but he comes off late to help. And again, eliminating the rack yards and running through, not running to. That was a great stand by Iowa's defense. They needed that after Texas has been able to move the ball with ease with that spread offense.
Fifth punt of the day for Greg Johnson. Dominique Douglas standing at his own 30-yard line. Not a good kick. Wobbly, and it takes a terrible bounce for Texas back across midfield. That bounced back about 10 yards, and it wasn't that great to start with. A 19-yard punt by the senior Johnson.
Remember, the clock starts on possession now, so it's at 3:35. As soon as the referee is winding his arm right now, that clock will start running. There it goes.
Now it runs. Ball at the 48-yard line of Texas. Iowa Hawkeyes 6-6. Big underdog in this game. Lost 3 in a row and 5 out of 6. A chance to upset Texas. Trying to go into the bag of tricks, and they are thwarted. Marcus Griffin came up to slam down Dominique Douglas for a loss of about 11 on the play.
Well, a couple things wrong, and I admire the trying to mess around with them a little bit. They have 8 people up at the line of scrimmage, and you're taking a risk when you don't need to take a risk when you already have good field position.
Well,
trust in what you've been doing. Yeah.
So little time left now, too. Ball back at the 41-yard line. 2:45 to go. Tate. Looked like his arm was struck by Crowder as he went to throw it. It'll be 3rd down and 21.
He's open, I'll tell you, and Drew's getting on his tackle, Seth Olsen, but that's tough duty for Seth Olsen to keep Crowder out there. Drew Tate has to step up into the line of scrimmage and step up into the pocket. See, he's staying back there where Olsen's pushing Crowder by. If Drew just steps up a little bit to help his big fella out, he'll have a chance to make a clean delivery.
Iowa's all 3 timeouts left. Texas with 1. Huge 3rd down and 21.
And man-to-man, across the board. Line up and find out who's better.
Blitz. Tate gets away for a moment. Gets away again. Throws on the run. Incomplete. It would have been short of the first down anyway, and Andy Brodell stumbled as he tried to come back to the ball and help out Drew Tate. I think with 21 yards to go and all 3 of your timeouts, you have to punt.
Absolutely. You punt the football and play defense. And Texas more than likely will run the football to force you to use your timeouts. But the reverse killed them. Great read by Marcus Griffin coming up and doing a great job of not making an open field tackle on Dominique Douglas, who wanted to throw the ball.
Well, you look like a genius when you run that trick play at midfield if it works, but boy, instead That was a killer. An 11-yard loss on first down. They were trying to pass from the wide receiver Douglas. Fenstermaker hangs it up high. Fair catch, Quan Cosby at the 15-yard line. 44-yard punt from Fenstermaker. He has a nice game in the last of his career.
Here again, the change of possession. The clock will start as soon as the referee whistles it in play. Coach Parker, he's got to need another big stop from the boys.
You know, we spoke with Norm Parker during the week. He said we'll have to play lights out of our minds almost to hang in there with these guys. He has to be very proud of the effort for the Hawkeyes today. A team that, the way the season ended, could have easily gone in the tank. Well, they have represented the proud Iowa tradition with their effort here today. Give Coach Ferentz and his staff credit for a great month of bowl preparation. Selvin Young into the line. And a timeout called by Iowa. 1:54 to go.
Timeout.
Kenny Webama
University of Iowa.
made the tackle. Another example where the new rule helps the team with the lead. The ball marked for play and the clock started after the change of possession. Well, Bob Knight still trying to pull out of that tie with Dean Smith for the all-time wins record in NCAA men's college basketball, denied the other night by UNLV in Lubbock. He'll try again on ESPN2, noon Eastern time against New Mexico, January 1st.
Yeah, I got to believe it means a little something to him, Sean.
Well, he keeps saying that it doesn't mean anything, and all I would say to Coach Knight is if it really doesn't mean anything, well, tell Steve Alford and John Havlicek and all those guys who went out of their way to come to the game the other day, don't bother to come. This is meaningless. Why are you coming all the way to Lubbock for this?
It's an incredible record.
It is. 2nd down and 9 upcoming. Texas has still rushed the ball for only 54 yards today. That's a problem that has lingered here at the end of the year. But McCoy's had the huge days. Passed for 308.
I want to give credit too to both lines. The offensive line for Texas, knowing they can't run the ball, has had to pass block, and the defensive line from Iowa, that's not very deep, has been pass rushing most of the game. They're leaving, both teams are leaving their heart and soul out in the field, which defines college football for me.
McCoy's season high 346 in the win against Oklahoma State. High formation with Selvin Young, the tailback. Instead, they hand it off on the end around. Billy Pittman appears to have a first down. Miguel Merrick made the tackle. They're going to spot it at the 27. It is an 11-yard gain and a first down.
Yeah, watch Tony Hill, Sean, a big offensive tackle, peel back and get the block right here. On Humboldt to spring. Pittman on the end around. Give them a little dose of their own medicine. Great job by Tony Hills.
Timeout Iowa. They had to use it as Pittman went down inbounds. We check in with Reese Davis. Well, hopefully they will continue a string of exciting games today right here on ESPN. Well, regardless of the outcome, it was a much better performance than we've seen in a long time from this Iowa team. Had an uncharacteristic year. A lot of reasons why: injuries, inexperience at some key positions.
That's college football, though.
Yep.
I mean, every team has that, and I just like the fact that Kirk Ferentz, I see that edge in him again, that edge, that competitor, the way he's handled boot camp, basically, for the bowl practices. He sent a message to his players, and the beautiful thing about it, he's got to be proud that his players responded the way they played tonight.
Now just one timeout left for Iowa, really up against it.
Start stripping the ball. Tackling the football, won't tackle the man.
That was another problem for Iowa all year. They're -10 in turnover margin. Selvin Young would be wise to stay in bounds, and alertly slides to the ground with Edmund Miles in hot pursuit. And the Hawkeyes used their last timeout with 1:37 to go.
Timeout. University of Iowa, third and final timeout.
So no timeouts left for Iowa. Second down upcoming for Texas. And it's been an interesting year for Texas. Mac Brown said it's a very hard thing, as he found out, to defend a national championship. And he pointed to the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Heat. He said if we win it again, actually he said when we win it again, I think I might take the next year off because it's that hard. There's so many different issues to deal with. All in all, a very nice season in defense of that national championship.
I think you get 10 wins. That's awesome in today's day and age of college football. His staff has done a great job with the development of Colt McCoy, who continues to get better as the year goes on. You can see the difference the way Colts played tonight as opposed to the last 2 games that they lost in their season finales.
Well, they came here believing they had a lot to play for, particularly that 10th win. To give them 10 wins or more for the 6th year in a row, the only team in the country that could make that claim. They're very close to it now if they can finish off the final minute 37. Rob?
Well, it'll be up to Selvin Young. You know, he came into the game with just 580 rush yards, second most this season for a Longhorn. Doesn't exactly sound like NFL numbers, does it? But Mel Kiper told me yesterday Young has a really strong chance to be taken on the first day of April's draft. He's improved his pad level. Quickness, change of direction, kick return ability, all that make him a top prospect. And he showed us something yesterday, guys, his attitude. When asked about splitting time this year, he told us, guys, it was a season where I had to understand this was what was best for the team.
Well, it's easier to split time when you have Jamal Charles as your 1A and 1B back. That's quite a combination as a 1-2 punch, which, frankly, that's where most football is going, is 2 solid running backs.
Young still out there. Iowa might have been offside, but there are no flags down. Young upended by Marcus Pascal. Now the Hawkeyes cannot stop the clock. It'll be 3rd down. The clock will approach a minute to go. Go under a minute by the time of the next snap.
Remember, the play clock is down. That's why you don't see it on the bug up there in the corner, and it's kept by the back judge. It will let the quarterback know when there's 20 seconds have gone by. He'll raise his hand and let him know that there's 5 seconds.
We'll keep an eye on the back judge. Get the signal when they're down to 5 seconds on the clock. Looks like they might even just intentionally take a delay of game penalty here. They're not even up over the ball.
Timeout.
Or use their own timeout.
University of Texas, 3rd and final timeout.
So no timeouts left on either side. Time now for our Capital One players of the game. And some easy choices. Colt McCoy for Texas. 308 yards and 2 touchdowns to tie the single season freshman touchdown pass record. 29 for the year. And Andy Brodell, his 2nd straight huge game. 2 touchdowns on 6 receptions. 160 yards receiving.
One of the questions about Colt and his recovery from his injury, Sean, was arm strength. Well, that was there tonight. And the other question was accuracy, because the injury, he felt affected of his accuracy, and that was there tonight. So all systems go for Colt tonight, and all systems go for Colt in the spring ball on the next season.
Kickoff for Georgia and Virginia Tech, 8:13 Eastern time from the Chick-fil-A Bowl. We'll get there in time for the kickoff. And we asked Mac Brown about next season. He said, yeah, they're going to have a real good team. Again, they should be poised to make another run at a national championship. They've just gotten to the point where they're going to be in it every year with the great influx of talent they have coming in year after year.
And we talked to him about the recruiting, and it's hard. There's so many kids in Texas, and a lot of the Texas kids want to be Longhorns, and they turn so many away because they can only take 20 to 25 kids a year.
Well, they have about 325 players a year who will sign scholarships at Division I-A schools. They can only take 20. A lot of those kids want to be Longhorns, so really they are picking and choosing. Did he stay in bounds?
Yes.
Officials conferring the clock has not stopped, so apparently Young just did. Mac Brown said a lot of schools now are offering other players scholarships earlier and earlier, trying to force the young men to make a decision before Texas can decide if they want them or not.
Before they even see them. And that, you know, if I'm like Coach Graham down at Rice, I'm going to do that. Or if I'm at TCU, Coach Patterson, I'm going to do that.
Even other Big 12 schools.
Yeah.
As Mac Brown says, we'd like to date you first before we get married. Boy, this was very close. He's cut Young being out of bounds. And he was out of bounds before they caught a huge break there, Texas. As he goes across that sideline there, and he is not down. And the officials are conferring now.
Seconds, please.
Let's go back to Roger Gaskamp, our NCAA referee in the booth. Is that reviewable, Roger? Can they go back and put the time on the clock?
Yes, they can. If they did go out of bounds, it is, all lines are reviewable.
And I think that's what Kirk Ferentz would like to see.
They're not going to.
Well, why wouldn't the officials be stopping the game here then? Or at least to take a look at that.
I don't think they felt like he did go out of bounds. They saw him down inbounds. They took the penalty for delay.
Booming kick by Johnson, and great coverage by the Texas Longhorns. Michael Griffin, their star safety, down there to get Dominique Douglas at the 15. And bear in mind the clock stops when they reset it. This new rule that you and I despise at this part of the game. Now they have to get right over the ball and be ready to snap at one time.
Yeah, this is where the officials do give them the benefit of the doubt. You see the two officials huddling right here, letting Iowa at least get a chance to line up. And they got to be able, Eubanks has got to be over the ball. Drew's got to be under center or in a shotgun position. Everybody's got to be set. As soon as that umpire moves out of the way, he'll look back to the referee, and the referee will start it. As soon as that umpire moves out of the way, Eubanks has got to snap the ball.
Well, there's a lot of history here. Drew Tate threw a touchdown pass on the last play of the 2005 bowl game against LSU. And, of course, last year in this game, it was Michigan laddering all over the field against Nebraska on the final play. There won't be 8 laterals to finish this Alamo Bowl. As Texas got him away, Aaron Lewis ends the game. And Mac Brown and the Longhorns have that 10th win for the 6th year in a row. And you could read the lips of Mac Brown. Great game to Kirk Ferentz, and it certainly was.
But both teams and both coaches need to be very proud of their players. They were looking, they both came at it as a business trip. Kirk Ferentz needs to be proud of Drew Tate and the career that he's had. Mac Brown, Colt McCoy, the future's bright. Kirk Ferentz has a little bit of rebuilding, but if there's a coach in America that can rebuild, Kirk Ferentz is your man.
And Drew Tate, Coach Ferentz said it'd be poetic justice if he went out a winner in his last game against his home state University in his home state of Texas. He didn't get the win, but he certainly gave a performance reminiscent of a couple of years ago when he was the best quarterback in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and that's why he'll get a shot in the NFL. I happen to think he'll get drafted. Somebody will take a late flyer on him because of his competitiveness, because he's a winner, and because he knows how to make plays.
Both of these Texas high school quarterback legends were outstanding on the collegiate field in the Alamo Bowl today. Here's Rob.
We're with Colt McCoy. And Colt, a struggling first quarter for you in the offense. What changed?
We just had to stay after it. We knew all along that we were just going to have to take what they give us, and they were doing a great job of stopping our plays. And fortunately, we caught some lucky breaks, got an interception, and kind of got it going. We came out here, we wanted to win. I was a great team, and I just want to give God all the glory. He's blessed me so much, and we're happy.
In your mind, when did this game change into your favor?
At halftime, when we got the momentum going in at halftime, we came out and scored real quick. They were still on top of us, but we stuck with it, kept fighting. And good things happen for us.
What does this do for Texas's momentum heading into the offseason?
It's unbelievable. I can't explain how much it's going to help us, especially for these young guys, seeing us fight, for these seniors. This one was for the seniors. I love them.
Thanks, Colt. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
McCoy threw for 308 yards in the Texas victory.
Yeah, I'll tell you what changed, Sean, was the fact that they went from a 2-back offense to the spread, and he started slinging the rock all over the place. Iowa couldn't stop him.
Mac Brown, a congratulatory hug for Drew Tate. Texas wins 26-24. The Chick-fil-A Bowl is up next. Now for Chris Spielman, Rob Stone, and our crew, Sean McDonough, reminding you this has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night and Happy New Year from San Antonio. Let's send you now to Atlanta.